Hello everyone. This is caption project presentation of working with data on the topic problems in political affairs of India. Next slide. This is a presentation by group 7. Introduction to the problem. Political affairs of India is not a streamlined problem that can be described in direct words. There are many layers to the problem, just like there are many layers to the democracy. Unlike any democracy, political affairs of India right from beginning has faced much criticism and failure. Our country, since the independence, has seen a lot of great leaders and seen different political situations. Our country is a democratic republic, so the problems in its political affairs is a very vast topic and has thousands of factors affecting it. Next slide. In this report, we will be talking about these problems with political mainstream of our country. First, lack of honest and intelligent leaders, unaccountability of government to its citizens. Third, no education eligibility criteria for a leader. Fourth, criminalization in politics. Five, dividing population for vote. Six, reservation system. Seven, lack of ethical principles. Next slide. Data set and collection methods. For this report on the problems of in political affairs of India, we used primary data collection methods to collate data such as questionnaire and a Google form. We have also used secondary data collection methods of the government records and documentation and report found on the internet. Next, lack of honest leader. The prime qualities of a leader is honesty and integrity. And in the absence of honest leaders, the country is pushed into hands of corrupt and dishonest people. Our country seriously lacks honest leaders with good character. India is a democratic republic country with pretty high corruption rate. It suggests us that the political structure of the country has a very deep corrupted base. Leaders of our country lack the honesty feather in their cap. Next, time and again, it has been brought to light that how the politicians have been dishonest and took part in major scandals. In the past few years, we have seen politicians indulge in scams such as the Choppergate scam of 2013. This was this was a scam worth rupees 36,000 crores done by Congress-led UPA government, where the middleman and officials of a government were bribed in the amount of 3,600 crores for a VVIP helicopter contract worth $2.12 billion. The infamous Rafael deal controversy, worth rupees 58,000 crores. Although the Supreme Court has given the government a clean sheet on the problem, it still is a very big issue. The Commonwealth Games scandal, worth a whopping 70,000 crores. The 2G spectrum scam, worth rupees 1.76 trillion. This leads to the question, do we believe in our current ruling leader? In our questionnaire, we asked people whether they trust the current government or not. And as per the data, we see that most of our government, most of people in the citizens don't really believe that their leaders is honest to them. From the previous graphical representation, we can understand almost 60% of population don't really trust their current leader. This is because leaders lack in honesty, character, front, and citizen has sensed it in their past time. This is serious call that our country needs some honest leaders with high moral grounds. How satisfied are you with existing government? In the questionnaire, we asked people to tell them on a scale how satisfied are we with the current government work in different fields of our country. And as per the graph, we can see that the major of the people have voted for three. That is satisfactory, not very happy, but satisfactory. Here is a tabular form in which we see the percentage of people voted for what. Here we see uh, a very even type of distribution, which suggests that government for some is working good, but in some sectors it's failing too.
No educational eligibility criteria for a leader. Education is an important part of every individual's life, and for a leader, it is important to have education in order to lead a country for a better future. Currently, our country has no educational eligibility criteria allowing any individual with the mass support to lead the government, which creates some serious problem for the government. Our country had a past full of superstition and illiteracy. And to top that, we had a few leaders who brought that into the political scenario of country. Often we hear political party members giving an absurd statement or doing something to disgrace the government of our country. A few examples are coined here. Next slide, please. Rape cases are on a rise in the country because men and women interact more freely now, as said by Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of West Bengal. Every Hindu woman must produce at least 3 to 4 kids to protect Hinduism. What an absurd statement it is, as said by Sakshi Maharaj, MP of BJP. Here are a few more statements by CM of Uttar Pradesh. I will not stop until I turn UP and India into a in Hindu country. Women are not capable of being left free or independent. Next slide, please. In our survey, we asked about how many people think that education should be an important criteria. Here is a pie chart, and as you can see, the most percentage is of yes, that yes, education should be an important criteria for selecting political leaders for a country. Next slide, please. In the previous pie chart, we can see 61% of the people in survey agree on the fact that there should be an education eligibility criteria for the politicians. The Indian political system is a mess because leaders are incompetent. In the modern world of globalization, how can we even expect from an uneducated leader to make a decision in interest of global problems? Next slide. Unaccountability of government to its citizens. Democracy produces a government that is accountable to citizens and is responsive to their needs and expectations. It makes sure that people have the right to choose their rulers, and if these representatives do not work according to people, people have the right to remove them. The leaders today, after winning election, hold themselves above the citizens and lose accountability to public. An accountable government is the key definition of democracy. Next slide. In our survey, we asked people whether they are happy with the current government. The data we collected is represented in the form of a pie chart. As you can see, mostly people voted for no. Next slide. From the previous graph, we can see almost half of the people taken the survey clearly suggest that they do not like the way the government is handling the current situation of the country. From the last election, the government has lost its accountability to the people. For example, our current Prime Minister always appears in announcements and videos. He never holds a two-way conversation between the government and public. And then the PM Care Funds, the huge trust he started for COVID care, is the biggest unaccountable trust India has. The unaccountability of a government in democracy makes it an elected autocracy. Next slide. Current situation of farmers in our country due to the current government. 3 contentious laws that will change the way India's farmers do business have sparked one of the India's biggest protests and a months-long standoff with the government. Since November, tens of thousands of protesting farmers demanding repeal of the laws have been camping out on highways on the outskirts of Delhi. The parliament passed the 3 bills in September, which were then signed into law by the president. Opposition parties accused the government of flouting parliamentary procedure by passing the bills hurriedly and not listening to the demands of sending the bills to a parliamentary committee for further deliberations. But beyond the political phrases, the bills have also split opinions. While Prime Minister called the reforms a watershed moment for Indian agriculture, opposition parties have termed them anti-farmer and linked them to a death warrant. Next slide, please. As India's Prime Minister struggles to quell months of protest by farmers against new market-friendly agricultural laws, critics and analytics see a pattern of curtailing free speech that they fear is sending India into a dangerous path of intolerance. While some of the tactics are not new in India's recent history, many fear the PM is taking them to the new heights.
Criminalization of politics. Criminalization of politics has become a headache for the Indian democracy, and it is a harsh reality now. It is more vicious than terrorism. This criminalization of politics parties is a result of the connection between criminals and politicians, because of which the corrupt has become our leaders and our heroes. According to the law, even individual who has criminal cases pending against them can take part in elections, as Indian law doesn't bar those who are facing trials for serious criminal offense. The criminalization of politics has escalated its route from the legislature to the executive, and from executive to the judiciary. The proportion of such candidates, which stood at 15% in the year 2009, rose to 17% in 2014, and has further gone up to an excruciating 19% in 2019 election for India, as reported by Association of Democratic Reforms. 30% of the members of the Lok Sabha in 2009 had cases against them, which went to 34% in 2014, and has further reached an alarming level of 43% as regards the members in the Lok Sabha in 2019. The gravity of the emergency can be better understood from the terrorized picture that 2019 of those to the Lok Sabha in 2019 have declared serious crimes. This is a graph showing percent of Lok Sabha winners having criminal case against them in the 10 years. Uh, Close to 43% of the Lok Sabha in 2019 polls have criminal cases against them, according to the ADR, Association for Democratic Reforms. This is a pie chart distribution of state-wise MPs having cases against them. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, and the others. Dividing population for vote. India has a vast population divided among many groups based on beliefs, religion, and caste and creed. The leaders of these communities should try and make policies that helps their community and bring them closer. At same time, but they do is divide the population further so that they can have a vote bank from the community. The homogeneity in the Indian population is causes division among different sections of the people based on religion, region, caste, and ethnicity. This has led to the rise of political parties with agendas catering to one or a mix of these groups. Parties in India also target people who are not in favor of other parties and use them as an asset. Some other parties are claimed to be universal in nature but tend to draw support from sections of the population. For example, the Rashtriya Janata Dal has vote banks among the Yadav and Muslim population of Bihar, and the All India Criminal Congress does not have any significant support outside West Bengal. The narrow focus and vote bank politics of most parties, even in the central government and state legislature, supplements national issues such as economic welfare and national security. Moreover, internal security is also threatened as incidences incidences of political parties investigating and leading violence between two opposing groups of people in a frequent occurrence. This is a stacked graph of vote shared by different social groups and political parties. The, here we can see from 2011 and 2019, Assamese Hindu has voted majority for BJP, AGP, and DOPF, and into and others like Bengali Hindus, Assamese Muslims, Bengali Muslims Bengali Muslims have voted for Congress in majority from 2011 to 2019. Reservation system. Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar introduced the reservation system for the upliftment of the lower caste. Since independence, the country has progressed on every benchmark and has reached to a point where the criteria of reservation should change the economic background of the person instead of caste. Nowadays, the reservation system is starting to act like it's a discrimination system for general category. People as a peers of same group have caste quota gets qualified even after being less meritorious than the general category candidate. In our survey, we asked people on a scale of 1 to 5 how much they agree that reservations should be provided to economically weak people only. And a majority agree that it should be provided to only economically weak people. From the above, we can see a majority of 53% people gave either 4 or 5 for the reservation based on economic conditions for a person. Now, the poor of this country needs an upliftment instead of low caste person. And from here, Rishabh will continue.
So I'll be continuing from lack of ethical principles. So ethics is usually defined as a set of moral principles that direct one's behavior and define what is considered to be right or wrong. Similarly, political ethics refer to making moral judgments to guide action and methods of decision making for the public goods. We see lack of ethics in politicians every now and then. Recently, we saw how BJP dissolved Madhya Pradesh government by buying off the MLAs with money or promising of better position. The lack of ethics caused high instability of the government. Next slide. A leader with a low ethical character can never lead a society way to glory. Just like the ethics community for a lawyer or politician, a politician should also go through a test for ethical character certificate. Times and again, we have seen our politician including in a non-ethical political practice for any of the following reason, like desire to continue to hold the power, wish for gaining popularity for taking benefits, lack of accountability and transparency in the system, lack of moral education or ethical practices, lack of sensitivity, high level of selfish behavior, gain for high social income status. Next slide, Veer. So here's the question, rise that do you think that the democracy of our country is in crisis due to the current party in rule? As we can see the graph, uh, in the above bar graph representation, we can see that to such a crucial question, majority of the people answered in an uncertain way. This is because of lack of interest of youth in modern day politics. Next slide. So topic is COVID handling by the current government in rule. So it's a unceased death, economics and social distress, psychological trauma, never in a living memory where Indian citizens more helpless. Never was there an absolute absence of hope. Never was Indians leadership more cruel towards citizens. Next slide. Several commentators have blamed the system for the massacre caused by the coronavirus pandemic without underlining the failure of Prime Minister, without naming the man behind the meme. They refuse to acknowledge that governance and administration do not operate the vacuum. These are led by specific personality. The government took little step to build India's health infrastructure, declaring a false victory over the virus, celebrating Kumbh and went ahead with celebration rallies with the disease was spreading fast. Next. Uh, Now this is like findings. The major takeaway from the project is our country has a lack of honest leaders which need to be changed. In the recent years, our government has become highly uncountable, and that need to change as a democratic government. Key features in is accountability. Criminalization of politics is serious issue, and election commission needs to regulate laws to prevent goons from entering politics. Next, leaders need to stop dividing communities to gain votes. A reservation system based on economic conditions should be introduced. A ethical code must be established for politicians. So that's it. Thank you.